This video is sponsored by the Outcast Seal.
Feeling like a seed in the ground, nigga, all I wanna do is grow. But that shit going too slow. Niggas be doing the most. Can wait till I make it and glow. Now let me just switch up the flow, switch up the pace.
For those who recognize anime subtleties, you'll find a new appreciation for this piece. On top of that, each person will have a one-of-one staple piece added to their fit. Outcast Seal, out now. No reason to wait, go get yours now.
That word is vulgar. But that word being vulgar has nothing to do with the biological thing that's happening to her. Because if he's able to use, she's going to have a baby.
But we're not talking about that. What we're talking about...
But that's what she's being offended about. Welcome back to Air It Out. And today we're looking at Am I the Asshole? And we're looking at refusing to use the word pregnant when I tell people my wife is going to have a baby or talk about her time carrying the baby. So let's get into this one. I know this is a weird hang-up, but I was raised up by my grandparents and they never used the word pregnant because to them it was almost like a dirty word. It was basically seen as vulgar, especially everything was always she's going to have a baby or she's expecting. So over time I developed an aversion to saying pregnant or pregnancy. I'm the same way with other words, but those are not an issue here. I guess my wife never noticed or didn't think much of it until we found out we were going to have a baby. One day she asked me about it and I explained the same thing I wrote above about how it was something I grew up with. It seems to bother her a lot more than I would have thought, and it created a bigger disagreement than I would have ever expected. Because of my explanation, she says that by me not using those words, it makes her think that I feel that she is doing is dirty or something shameful and to be hidden. She thinks I secretly judge her. Weird take. I obviously don't feel this way, and my hang-up has nothing to do with her or the baby. It's purely about comfort and certain language not being part of my vocabulary. I really think she is making too much of this, and perhaps it is being used by her as a projection for her own insecurities. I don't think my language choices in this case make me the asshole. She disagrees and wants me to start using the right terms to describe what is happening.
You know what?
What?
I actually think he might be bugging.
All right. What do you think?
If he's outright refusing to use the word pregnant, even in, like, so he gets put in a place where they ask him, like, is your wife pregnant? Or something where he should be using the word pregnant directly, and he doesn't, and he goes on a longer explanation, or when he's talking to his wife and things. I don't know. I'm just thinking about the refusal of saying that word is unnecessary. Where if it was something like you're brought up, it was your culture, right? Like you're around your grandparents and things like that, so you guys just use different words. That's fine. But you're not refusing to say other words. You can still say other words, but you're not refusing to say those other words. You know what I'm saying?
But okay. But this is the comparison I would have. It's basically what it is to me is it's like somebody says, I don't use the word fuck to describe sex, having sex. And another person is like, no, but that's another word for it. And they always use having sex or making love or something like that.
Yeah.
And the person is upset that they won't use the word fuck because they find it as a vulgar word. Or, for example, switch it to sex. Like, I don't use having sex because I think that's a vulgar. And I use the word fuck, or I use making love instead. I think in my view, it's just a word. So it's not. I don't think from what we read there's an issue with the process, or an issue with having a child. It just has to do with the word pregnant or pregnancy.
Yeah.
Anything else is fine. Having a baby.
Yep.
We conceived. That doesn't seem to be an issue. It's just pregnant and pregnancy.
Yeah.
Is the issue. And so the person uses a different word. I don't think that's that big of a deal. I think that it is making a big deal about it. I think the area that might show some like projection is where he says, because of my explanation, she says that by me not using those words, it makes her think that I feel. So not that I actually feel that way, but it makes her think that I feel that. And if he's telling her that, no, that's not how I feel about it, this is just the words that I tend to use in my vocabulary.
So then this is where
she's projecting by saying that because of the way he's speaking, that he thinks this way. When you're in a relationship, there's language that you develop inside of that relationship.
Yeah.
There's context to it that you understand what that person means when they say this.
Yeah.
So you can't base it off of what that word means to you or what not using that word means to you. You should understand what it means when that person uses that word.
But here's what I'll say to that. Your partner is expressing their feelings regarding that. Say that's an insecurity, right? That they feel about their husband or their significant other not saying the word pregnancy, right?
Yeah.
Then is it on that person, right, to give some type of compromise in the sense of like saying the word pregnancy?
I guess my thing is like, what is the... I've never seen a scenario where like the word pregnant had such importance. Like there's so many other words that describe the process.
Yeah.
I think on both sides it's a nothing issue. Like I think on her
Yeah, I don't
side,
think that this is an issue
it's not that
at
big of a
all.
deal.
I don't think it's a big
and
deal
I think
at all.
that they should just be like, oh, okay, you don't use that word, that's weird, and that's
Yeah, and
that's
then
it.
that could be it.
That's
But
it.
it's
That's
not.
it.
But that's not the case here, and it's becoming more of a bigger thing. And I feel like for him to continue on, I don't know.
Because I can imagine that if she's getting upset about this, she probably has a habit of policing his words and policing his
And look, he said
that's why
he has other words that he does not use, but that's not what he's talking about in this scenario.
Yeah.
So obviously, this is not the first time that something like this is possible.
I don't know that. I don't necessarily know that they have the issue, but if he's just a quirky type of person that only uses certain words because they have like this icky feeling when they use other things.
Yeah.
It's weird, but I don't think it makes someone an asshole to not use that word.
What I'm trying to get at is about, because in a relationship there's compromise.
Yeah.
There will always be compromise.
Well, not in this scenario.
Well, if there's no compromise, then really what it leads to is a separation. Yeah. Honestly, so I'm thinking about who should be compromising in this? Like, who should be compromising in this? Should he just deal with the fact of how he feels when he says pregnancy because his wife or significant other wants him to describe her as having a baby by just saying the word pregnancy? Or does the wife actually need to understand what he's saying with, I just think it's a vulgar word, and you need to respect that?
I don't even think that he necessarily thinks it's a vulgar word. He said that his grandparents said that.
Yeah.
So that's why
he grew up, and it got imprinted on him not to just say that.
And now I think that his wife wants him to use pregnant. And I'm saying that I don't think that his wife him using pregnant changes anything in the sense of describing it. If it's from the point where she said that she thinks that because his grandparents found that vulgar and him not using it means that he still thinks that that word is vulgar. But that word being vulgar has nothing to do with the biological thing that's happening to her. Because if he's able to use, she's going to have a baby.
But we're not talking about that.
But that's what she's being offended about. She's being offended about him thinking that her being pregnant is something that should be hidden or something that's vulgar.
But that's it. It's not really about...
And I'm saying if you're using the words having a baby, and that's not vulgar for describing the process that's happening to her, then the part that's vulgar has nothing to do with her. It has to do with the word in his mind and in his grandparents' mind.
Yeah, and it
has nothing to do with her.
And him explaining the fact that like that's not it.
Yeah, it's not the process. It's about the word that they just have arbitrary vulgarness attached to it. So it's not. Yeah, she shouldn't feel as though it's has anything to do with him.
So then I think that her next step would be. I mean, we're also trying to just put words in her mouth right now, in the sense of. So if you do not feel that way, then say the word.
But what I'm saying is that, and that's what I'm saying is that it shouldn't be. At this point, they're arguing over something that doesn't matter. Because once you realize that the intention of what they're saying, yeah,
you're right.
I'm saying that's what I'm saying, that if it doesn't matter, if your significant other has an arbitrary,
that's what I'm saying.
Yeah, we know it does, but I'm saying there's one person that cares more about the word they're using than the intention behind it, and I'm saying that they're making more of a problem out of something that didn't need to exist. If you understand that,
I agree.
Yeah, so that's what I'm saying, that in this scenario, if according to the information we're given, she is making more out of the scenario than it needs to be. If she already knows that he doesn't view her
Right.
having his kid is as
right.
vulgar.
He's already reassured his significant other that I don't see you as dirty. I don't see you as doing something
I just find
a
that
shameful
word
act.
dirty.
I just find that word in a more shameful domain.
Not necessarily even shameful, but I think it's more as like it's a when I think of it's like
it's like taboo. He's finding that word of some type of taboo. Which okay, cool, but I'm just thinking about you're right in the fact that like the wife making it something that is now an issue in their relationship is unnecessary. Who should be compromising here? Like he compromised in the fact of like saying like, listen, like I'm not doing that. I'm not using that word that I feel that is taboo because I think that you're doing some type of shameful act. He's explaining his emotions. But then for her, right, she feels like even though you're still not doing it and saying that taboo word in your mind, you're still in some ways disrespecting me or feeling some type of way with me.
She still thinks that he feels bad about or
then she needs to deal with that feeling.
Yeah, she needs
herself.
She must have a feeling that she's doing something that's dirty or something, and this just exacerbated that, and it kind of let her jump on that. That's my opinion of it.
Because at first I was really thinking that like he was just refusing to say the word, and there was really no value behind like he didn't see it as taboo. He just didn't want to say the word, and he wouldn't fold on saying the word.
He just didn't want to say that word. He doesn't have a problem with the process, like the biological process, or his wife carrying it.
No.
So that's the only thing that's what she's getting offended about. That's what I'm saying. She's not offended about the word. She's offended about feeling as though he's not
that the word
it.
would portray.
No, she has a problem with the fact that she thinks that if his parents or his grandparents found it vulgar, he finds that word vulgar, then she's defining herself as pregnant. So therefore, she must be vulgar as well. But she's not separating the fact that pregnant is a word that means the same thing as going to have a baby, or is expecting a baby, or has a baby inside of her. And if he is fine with using those words, then it has nothing to do with the process inside of her. It has to do with just the word itself.
Fair enough.
So for me, I don't think that this was an asshole move. I think this is just a little insecurity tied with maybe there's some other background scenarios that we don't know about
that may
have exacerbated the situation. But yeah, for this verdict, we're saying not an asshole. What do you guys think? Let us know in the comments below and say what you think about our verdict as well as maybe some information that we might have missed. We'll see you guys later.